What up, everybody? This is Jonathan at Lil Chubb Customs in Fitzgerald, Georgia. I want to make a video real quick. This Hayabusa here inspired this video because I had a dilemma when it came in, and that dilemma was that this original tank came in, and although it looks pretty clean on the inside, on the outside we ended up having a lot of rust spots coming through the tank here. With that amount of damage to the tank, I just really didn't feel right trying to band-aid it some kind of way. So I recommended getting another tank. Customer ended up bringing me another tank that needed to be cleaned out as well because it had rust, which led me to this issue, which is under the tank here there is a fuel pump that is roughly shaped like this. This is a DIY version of the block off plate I made several years ago. What it's actually made out of is one of these cheap Dollar Tree cutting boards. And truth be told, that this works okay, you know, but the issue is the quality is pretty poor. It takes some time to make this, and then, you know, ultimately it looks like garbage, and you know, it ends up getting misplaced or thrown away or whatever, and so you're making one again next time. And this takes a little bit of time to make, even if you can make it cheap and affordable or whatever, still some time wasted. And lately I've been getting into 3D printing, or this past year or so, and so I said, hey, I could probably design this and make one. And so here we are. These were the two filament options I started to thought about initially. And I actually had a conversation with ChatGPT, and I said, you know, which filament should I use for what I'm using this for? Because this is not something that's going to be exposed to heat or anything like that. This is something that's strictly only going to be used for shop use and maybe testing for leaks or cleaning out rust from an old nasty tank. So I said, should I use PETG here in the yellow, or the white here is ABS? ChatGPT recommended me using PETG because of its flexibility and chemical resistance. So that's what I did. Now, the chemical I use is extremely harsh chemicals. I'm not going to reveal that. If you want to know the secret to cleaning out a rusty gas tank, hit me up and let me know, and I might reveal it. But it's taken me many, many tries to get the right product and whatnot. So anyway, this is what I used. And honestly, this is used during, I would say, no longer than 5 minutes. Okay. So the chemical I use is extremely harsh. You should use gloves. But if you look at it, not sure how well it shows up on camera, but the layer lines started to melt a little. And so this product, for you know, if it were going to be left overnight, I would question its integrity. So that led me to trying ABS. And so what I did, which I don't have on camera, but I put a pool of the chemical I use right here in the center and left it overnight. It showed really no signs of any degradation, or whatever word you want to use for that. You can see here that the layer lines are really no different. And I mean, nothing, but here with the PETG, you can see the nasty material actually sort of welded itself to the plastic, and you know, the layer lines began to melt. So this set, you know, roughly, I would say close to 24 hours, at least 16 hours, and held up just fine. So what we're going to do is an experiment, and I'm going to take these two strands here, and I'm going to submerge them in some of the chemical. Now I'm gonna put it in this diced pimentos. Don't ask where that came from. I'm not into eating weird stuff like that. But diced pimentos, not diced pimentos. We're gonna put some of the chemical in there and submerge it. And I think I'm just gonna let it set for an hour, and let's just see what happens. So I'm gonna take the strand and this is not scientific. We're talking about real world shop use, and we're gonna test this. And like I said, I'm not going to tell you the chemical. I'm just going to tell you it's extremely harsh, and you should wear gloves, and you should probably wear a mask, and certainly do this in a well-ventilated area. So disclaimer there. Okay, so here we go. Here's not diced pimentos, and you probably can't see it. There's smoke coming off of there. This stuff is rough. Okay, so, and I'm not wearing gloves because I like to live dangerously. So again, we have our ABS, which is the white, and this yellow here is the PETG. And we're gonna just plop those bad boys in there. And you know, I don't know how quick we'll see anything. These things are slightly flexible. The ABS is already sort of more rigid, but the PETG is fairly flexible, but you know, not crazy flexible. So we're going to see how it just affects these strands, because that's where my interest lies, is which material and why I chose to go with what I chose. And yeah, we'll come back to this, and let's just say an hour. We'll give it an hour, and I really feel like we'll see something going on there within that amount of time. So let's see what happens. All right, so it's been about an hour, pretty close anyway. So we're gonna check this out and just see what it did. I honestly don't know. You're gonna find out just like me. As far as any visible issue, you know, I don't know, it's gonna be hard to get my phone to focus in on that. Just from looking at it right here, I can't see any real issues, deformation, or even like if I take it and try and flex it. And then what I was curious about is if I take a pair of pliers and I try to squish it, see, it actually squished pretty easily. So here's what okay, so that's interesting. Now let's see how well it squishes on the other end where it was not submerged, because that was squished pretty easily. Oh yeah, and see, that's so much, that took some more effort. Let's do it again. Okay, so yeah, that took some effort, right? And I'm sorry, I'm not measuring this, you know, this is just real world and I don't know. I would say that it could possibly be different, but I don't know. The difference is not very negligible. If we look at this right here, as far as the ABS goes, if we look at it, I also cannot see any kind of deformation. If I go to try to squish it, okay, I mean, like, it's squished. Okay, with a little effort. Let's see what happens, and let's see if it feels the same. You're just gonna have to trust me. Yeah, and I'd say that felt the same, no matter, there was no real difference. It doesn't really tell us really much of anything, and what I might do is just let this sit. So what I might do is just, we'll save the finished video for tomorrow. This is, again, not really a how-to. It's more like a why did I choose the product I chose, because this is the finalized product. Here is this block off plate here, made from ABS. I'm going to be selling these on eBay for roughly $20 plus shipping. So we'll just say probably I'll price it at like 27 bucks. That's way cheaper than the aluminum one. And, you know, if you don't want to buy it, that's fine. Make one out of anything you can. That's what I did. And sure, it works. But is it fidgety? Yes, it is. And in fact, you could do it and try and get the holes just right. And you might wind up like this one did, where not everything lines up right, and it was supposed to go that way, and now it's got to go a different way because the holes aren't drilled the same. So you can take all the fuss out of that, and you know, what's your time worth? What's your time worth? You know, is the real thing. So sure, I spent, you know, probably not an hour, but maybe an hour getting all the measurements right, because they're not entirely, it looks like it's the spacing is the same, but it's not the same. They actually have one of the corners off this corner here. The measurements are not the same, and so getting everything right took a few tries and whatnot. But now I have this that is made permanently, and you know, anytime I'm working on, you know, a Hayabusa between 99 and 07, and even the GSXR1000, I believe, is the same bolt pattern, so should work for regular Gixxers as well. And if you'd like to use this product, I'm gonna link below with the eBay page where I have it for sale. Like I said, probably gonna price it for about $27. You can get a billet one for like 80 bucks, but if you're just using it for leak testing and cleaning out a tank, this would be more than adequate. This is not something that's for use while the motorcycle is in operation. So this is purely a shop tool. So if you're interested in that, I'm going to link below. I'm going to finish the video off tomorrow. Tomorrow. I have to look here and not here. Tomorrow, I'm going to finish up the video, and we're going to see how this fares overnight. Let's see if we can see a difference, because like I said, I definitely could here and here, you know. So let's see. But regardless, this product, if you do decide to get it, is going to be made to be as robust as possible, and made for as many uses as possible. So I'm not going to sell you some inferior product. We're going to sell you the toughest thing available. That is if you want it. If you don't want it, like I said, go to Dollar Tree or Dollar General, get you the cheapest cutting board possible, trace you out a template on cardboard, then drill out your holes and then cut it out, and then you might have to sand it down, blah blah blah. If you want to go the DIY route, feel free to do that. And then again, if you want to know this secret chemical I'm using, you got to request that, because I'm not just going to give it up. It took a little bit of work to get to this point. So, and to find something that works every time. So, all right, I'll catch you tomorrow. All right, so it's the next morning, and we're going to check on this. I haven't checked on this, so I don't expect anything crazy. So, but let's just see what it is. Yeah. What are you doing? That's not a kitty litter. Look at the goddamn cat over here, fucking using the goddamn floor as a goddamn potty. Get the fuck out of here. Go use your litter box. All right, so we moved this over by the ultrasonic cleaner here. So this is the ABS here. Doesn't really seem to have affected it at all. This is our PETG, and I mean, I'd say it's not necessarily more flexible. If we were going to try and give it the old crunch test, again, this is not scientific, but I'd say, you know, there's not like a big negligible, or there's not a big difference. I think what I was experiencing in my other testing, yeah, so this is something that you probably can't tell on camera, but the outer skin of the PETG just is super slick here, and feels almost soft. It's not soft, but almost soft. Okay, we go back here, this is hard. We go here again, it's a slick feeling, not just lubricated, but I do believe that this form of acid is what it is really, is affecting the outer skin of this. And so that's why I chose to go with the ABS, even though it's not a big difference, the part would be just fine in PETG, but we're going to use the best material possible for what we're working on. And I feel like ABS will stand up to many uses. So this is the tool I'm going to be using in my shop. And again, if you want to pick one up, I have them on eBay. I'm gonna have them for 27 bucks ish. That'll cover shipping. So appreciate you guys watching. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below.